welcome to Business Line. Poland has made its choice and has made it very clear. The country's conservative opposition seized back power when the voters dumped the ruling liberal centre-right Civic Platform party out of office. As with any vote, the economy has been crucial. And what's interesting is that we don't happen to hear much about the Polish economy in Western Europe. Think of the economic headlines we've been seeing in the media recently. Not much about Poland. And it's not only because the country hasn't made it into the Eurozone, it's rather because the Polish economy may look almost spotless compared to other countries. In this edition, we focus specifically on what we miss when looking at it from outside to understand why people voted the way they did.
The Law and Justice Party, both conservative and Eurosceptic, have won Poland's parliamentary elections. The party's leader, Jarosław Kaczyński, and the future Prime Minister, Beata Szydło, have completed the country's swing to the right of centre, with their victory coming just months after Law and Justice Party candidate Andrzej Duda was voted in as Poland's sixth president. The country is expected to have, for the first time since democracy was restored in 1989, a one-party government. The Conservative group have appealed in particular to voters in poorer rural areas who feel left out by Poland's robust economic growth, with promises of lower taxes, changes to the retirement age and an increase in benefits for families. It's a heavy supporter of the Catholic Church, with a ban on abortion and in vitro fertilisation among its policies. On the international front, the refugee crisis has played an important role in the election campaign. Warsaw has agreed to accept around 7,000 people. However, party leader Kaczyński believes that Muslims are a threat to Poland's Catholic way of life. The party is distrustful of the EU and is against joining the Eurozone anytime soon. It also believes a strong NATO is essential in order to deal with the perceived threat from Moscow. The future Prime Minister has said that they need to emphasise the importance of Poland as a country that defends the interests of its citizens. Defending the country's interests may reopen a turbulent period with its European allies, as was the case with Germany between 2005 and 2007. Back then, the Kaczyński twins were in power together, and they demonstrated their support for the United States. Despite the Law and Justice Party's Eurosceptic stance, the vast majority of Poles were in favour of European Union membership in a recent poll.
Let's pick numbers. Here is the Polish economy at a glance. Since the country joined the European Union in 2004, its economy has grown by almost 50%, up by half in a decade. And this is the steepest rise among all the EU members, making it the sixth largest in the bloc. The unemployment rate in Poland fell to 9.7% last month. That's more or less in line with the EU average of 9.5%. Youth unemployment is high as elsewhere in the EU. Moreover, Poland was the only European country to avoid recession after the 2008 financial crisis. So far, so good. We could say that in some countries these rates are much worse. So what's the main problem? It's inequality, and that's exactly what brought the Poles to the polls. Many people feel they have missed out on the benefits of the economic boom over the past decade, when GDP annual growth rate averaged 4.2%. More than 1 in 4 employees have temporary contracts. That's twice the EU average. More than a fifth of Polish workers make less than $720 or €650 a month. That's the poverty threshold. The number of Poles living abroad has more than doubled in the past decade to 2.3 million. They particularly leave the country's poorer eastern regions, whilst some parts of Poland have already reached Western European standards. With this uneven wealth, people are simply not happy with their share of spoils, and the newly elected political party pushed the right buttons, just not to the currency and the financial markets.
Poland's election result brought a jittery reaction on the markets, the zloty and bank stocks falling slightly. The victorious Law and Justice Party wants to spend billions to boost growth and to tax banks' assets. The plan unnerved markets last week and sent the zloty to a 9-month low against the euro.
The banking sector is saying that this will slash their profits, looking at predictions for this year, at least by half if this 0.39 tax would be imposed. This will probably hurt the mortgage sector, and it will slow down credit action in Poland.
Polish banks already face having to finance recent measures which allow more than 500,000 mortgage holders who took out loans in Swiss francs to convert them to zlotys. Many people have struggled to keep up repayments.
Not all have been lucky to avoid the crisis problems. Many countries and companies are still struggling, looking for a way to get back to profits and finally leave the problems in the past. And this does not depend on a sector, as sometimes a key to success might be to expand horizons. Does it work? Let's check it out. This is it. This is IT.
Wembley Stadium is unanimously considered a temple of football. All kinds of it, turns out. The London venue recently hosted an American football game. For the U.S. National Football League, the match between Buffalo and Jacksonville was a chance to experiment with new distribution means. For Yahoo, which became the first provider ever to live stream an NFL event across the world, it was a touchdown. But the real game is far from over. The internet giant has been struggling since 2008, and quarterback Marissa Mayer, who was drafted in 2012 to turn the team around, faces many challenges. In the third quarter, revenue fell short of Wall Street expectations at $1.23 billion. Shares are down 34% since the start of the year, due in part to the drop in value of its stake in Alibaba. Yahoo plans to spin off its remaining 15% in the next few months, but fiscal authorities in the U.S. warned that we can't guarantee it will be tax-free. As investors' patience was thin, Mayer called one last play a series of partnership deals with other companies. First with Mozilla, with Yahoo becoming the default search engine on Firefox. Secondly with Oracle to push it on other browsers through the Java software updates. Finally, with her former colleagues in Mountain View, Google will supply advertising and search results for some search queries made by Yahoo users. That was it. That was IT.
Meat is dangerous. The World Health Organization has come to the conclusion, which is shocking to all the meat eaters. It's too early to see whether the statement would cause bloody consequences to the sales of meat, but it's very interesting to see if consumers are ready to go vegetarian.
Public reactions to the IARC's report have been mostly dismissive, with people in general believing that as long as their diets stay balanced, they'll stay healthy, and they won't be changing their habits.
No, I don't think so. Otherwise, I guess I wouldn't eat anything else. So, no, as long as you have a balanced sense of food, then to me it's okay. I will still eat meat, whatever decision is taken about cancer or not.
Retailers in the meat trade are, of course, insisting the report is baloney, and are not mincing their words. I don't think I'll modify my food habits, also because I've eaten processed meat for a lifetime, as I think many other people have done, and nothing happened. In Germany, the land of the sausage, one American tourist said he was cutting back. But when on holiday...
I'm trying to cut down just a little bit, just in case. I think it's a healthier choice for me. I noticed that my body has been feeling a lot better with the least meat I eat. But since I'm in Germany, it's my first time eating currywurst, why not, all in balance, And
in the city of the full English breakfast, one woman on Brick Lane in London said she didn't give a sausage about the warning.
I think food awareness in general is really important, but that's possibly a step too far. I mean, every week, tomatoes give you cancer. There's a new fad. There's a new, alert.
Bacon.